Welcome to Small Talk. My name is David Shaw. I have a challenge for you after this small talk is finished. Take 30 seconds to name as many different reasons for kneeling as you can. I have two pictures in my head in relation to kneeling at the moment. The first is of the Magi, the wise men, kneeling at the manger of the baby Jesus. And the second is a scene that we're seeing across our sports fields at the moment. Prior to a game, players are going on one knee and doing what we call taking the knee. The latter of those two, taking the knee, has its modern origins in about 2016, when an American footballer called Kaepernick refused to stand for the national anthem. He remained seated. And then in conversation with others who were seeking to model his protest, said, let's go down on one knee. It's more dignified, but nonetheless it is a protest against the brutality of the American police and racism in general. And then when George Floyd was killed earlier this year, that protest became not just American, but global. The kneeling of the Magi is quite extraordinary. Tradition has it that these were men of wealth, men of power, men of status. They had bowed before, they had gone on their knees before kings before, but those kings had been on thrones. And here we see them kneeling at the place where animals feed, because that was where an infant lay, and they had come to worship and adore and bring their gifts. Now these are two very different stories of kneeling, and I've tried to blend them in some way in my head, but they have refused to be blended. They remain distinct, but somehow they need to be held together. In one, the presence of Jesus is obvious. It is Jesus in the manger. It is Jesus the King who is being knelt in the presence of by these wise men, these Magi. And maybe this Christmas you will be invited to kneel at least in your head in adoration of God's gift of his Son to us to save the world. But I wonder, in that other scene, on the sports field, as people are making their protest against injustice, and particularly against racial injustice, those who are standing to be in solidarity with black ethnic minority peoples, I wonder if in your imagination, as in mine, you can see another figure kneeling with those players. I wonder, could it just be Jesus?